I want to tell everybody, if you're not necessarily interested in aviation, don't think this podcast, or at least my interview, is all about becoming an aviation professional. When I talk to kids in schools for years, what I would tell them is maybe being a pilot isn't your thing, and that's fine. What I do want you to do is follow your dreams. Find your passion and go after it, whatever that passion is. It is so important because you have to do this job for, 30 plus years a lot of times. It's not about the paycheck, it's about loving what you do.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for joining us this Thursday. Today's guest is David Simpson. He is a 737 captain for a major airline, which he'll probably disclose later. And he is one of the biggest influencers that this airline has to offer. Welcome, David.
Wow, that sounds all official and kind of flattering. It's not true. I'm just a little fish in a big pond, but that was real flattering.
You're a big fish. You're a big captain. You can take that title.
The weight of the world has pushed me down. I used to be like 6'7". Now I'm like 5'10". I don't know.
5'7", 6'7" and weak, and now 5'10" and strong.
Yeah, well, something. And just weighed down. That's what it is.
Yes, so welcome. So let's tell our audience where you came from. How did you get into the aviation industry? How did you acquire your following? What that entails? Who's involved? And yeah.
That's a whole lot right there. I got interested in aviation early on in life. My dad worked for another major airline, and I think I got on my first airplane probably at 3 months old, something like that. I always joke around and tell people I think my first word might have actually been airplane because growing up, that's all I ever wanted to do was just be a pilot. All my school projects, all of the things I used to talk about, or I'd stare out the window, were all about being on an airplane or being a pilot or something like that. It's really fun to dream about that, and I had no idea how to do that. Only thing I knew was to try to go into the military and then come out and go and be a commercial airline pilot. That's all I knew. So I started gearing myself towards, well, let me actually back up a little bit and say that you had to major in engineering. And then you had to go in the military, and then you could be a commercial airline pilot. So I geared everything I did towards an engineering type of thing. Even in high school, I did some engineering programs and things like that. Everything I was doing with engineering, let's see what I had a job as an electrician assistant trying to get all kinds of electrical knowledge and things like that, so that when I went to college, I majored in electrical engineering at the illustrious Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, which I know you're from that area also, so
I am a true pilot.
That's right, the Pirates. So we majored in electrical engineering, and after my first year, I knew that this was not for me. I could not do it. I hated it. It totally did not go with my social lifestyle because I really enjoyed just, you know, partying, And so it was way too much studying. I really didn't enjoy it anyway. And talking to one of my friends, he says, "Well, we have an aviation department. Why don't you come and check that out?" Like, what the heck is an aviation department? What do you do? He's telling me about learning to fly and this and that. I said, "So you're telling me by the time I graduate, they'll actually start to teach me how to fly? I'll be ready to start learning how to fly?" And he says, "No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the day you start, you'll start learning how to fly. By the time you graduate, you're going to have 7 different licenses and ratings." Whoa. And that's when I found out there's a whole different path into the commercial airline field. There's a civilian path and a military path. So I talked to my parents and begged them for their graces and mercy if they could give me one more chance to change my major and pay all this extra money for flight training. I promise I won't let them down. And they agreed. And you know what? I didn't let them down.
What year was this that you changed?
This was the end of my freshman year, so it took effect my sophomore year. And from that point on, I never looked back. Just started learning to fly, got all my different licenses and ratings, and became three different types of flight instructor. It was a really good experience. I had a group of guys that I learned to fly with that we would push each other, we would motivate each other. United Airlines just featured the six of us in video. It was actually pretty inspiring when I saw the finished product. I was like, wow, that almost brought a tear to my.
Guys, for all of you out there, I am going to share his stuff. Follow me on Come Fly with Love on Instagram and follow him. But listen, guys, it will give you goosebumps every time I watch it. I having grown up in Hawaii, I'm sorry, Hawaii and then Hampton, and Hampton University being my background, and actually knowing most of those pilots there, and having grown up in the commercial airline industry with these
Yep,
guys, it's just so I mean, it's so emotional for me because like I've literally watched you guys grow, you know, and knowing where you came from, it's just it's such an emotional ride, and to see you guys all live your dream, which wasn't that easy to fulfill at the time.
was
Um,
not.
here at this airline that I'm proud to be a part. Yeah, sorry, I love that.
No,
That video was woo.
and I get it. You know, when we look back, we never we never knew we were all going to end up at the same airline, especially such a great one such as United Airlines. um, it we just all wanted to fly, and we would love to be here, but we didn't know if we were all going to get here. Sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. We were going to push each other to make sure that we were all successful, and we all were. And it was amazing looking back on it, just thinking of where we were and where we are now, living our dream, trying to help inspire others. It's been absolutely amazing. Which one of your questions was about social media? You know, I have to tell you, I was not a big social media guy. I was a little bit resistant on that and ended up getting a Facebook account. I don't know, a long, long time ago. I have no idea what year this was. This might have been 2007 or something, at 08 or so. I don't know. And then later on, when Instagram became big, ended up with an Instagram account, and all I wanted to do was just take pictures of what I see and share them. People seem to like looking at pictures from above, so thought I would just take some pictures, maybe the occasional video. Then these iPhones come out with all kinds of nice features and slow motion or time lapse. They have different lenses you can put on it with fisheye. I did that for a little while. It's just all these pictures, and I started gaining followers and things like that. And at some point, I know you, United, everybody started noticing some of my pictures, and I've been invited to different events to just take pictures or video or document it however I see fit. And I've been in two of their videos now, one on the 737 Max coming back, which, by the way, I fully believe is probably the safest airplane in the skies right now. And of course, this Hampton University video. So I don't know. This is fun. It's been a good ride so far.
Yeah, and it's great to have, you know, me speaking as well, but it's great to have a great airline that backs you up, backs your dreams up, and backs who you are as a person, who you are as an employee. So that I will say. So how long have you been flying?
I started flying in 1995. Again, that was that sophomore year in Hampton University. So
Oh,
you do the math. That was a long time ago.
hmm.
And I started flying commercially. My first airline being a regional pilot in 2000, June of 2000. And 21 years later, I'm still in the industry. It's been a wild ride, ups and downs. I wouldn't change it for anything. I had a blast. And I'm at the point in life, as crazy as it sounds, where I'm not waiting for the next step. That's where it was. I was just hustling and hustling, trying to get to the next step. What's next? How can I push it further? At this point now, no, I'm not worried about the next step. I'm actually enjoying where I am. And officially, I'm about halfway through my career. I've been, let's see, I've been an airline pilot, like I said, for almost 21 years, and I've got just over 20 years before I have to retire. I'm halfway through my career, and I spent the first half trying to hustle and get further, and now I'm at a whole different spot. I just want to enjoy and give back, make sure that I'm helping others get to wherever they want to be, wherever that is.
But you've always been like that. Everyone out there, if you don't know David, David's always been like that since I met you. How many years ago?
Yeah, it's a while ago. We'll say that.
Many years ago. Yes, David and I have a lot of history, a lot of fun layovers, a lot of he's family to me and my family, and it came from the camaraderie we had at this airline, where like-minded individuals who want to give back actually got together, and that's the one thing that we had in common is just giving back, whether it's to the community, which you do. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Oh yeah,
Which you give back to your colleagues, and you continuously do it. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate knowing you. I'm very honored to know you, because you teach
thank
me.
you.
No, no, you teach me every day, and I'm glad that United Airlines sees that, and sees your positivity, and sees how much you are, a great person in this community, and in the world. So let's talk about what you do for the community. What are you involved with?
Well, the biggest thing that I do for the community right now is I'm involved in an organization called OBAP, which is the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. There's lots of different committees in this organization. It's been around for 45 years now. Um, but there's one committee that I'm deeply involved in called APDP, and that stands for Aviation Professional Development Program. What we do in that program is basically we do some mentorship of people. We do a lot of interview preps. When people have interviews at all these respective companies, from major airlines to regional airlines, and not just pilots, we're talking flight attendants, we're talking management. If somebody wants to be a check airman, if somebody just wants a job to be a flight instructor, I don't care what you're doing, we'll prep you. And so right now, I am a co-chair of that committee nationally. Um, my buddy Ryan is the chairman. And myself and another buddy Goliath are both co-chairman. Ryan is another United pilot. Goliath is the American Airlines pilot. So we're well represented all over, and do a lot of setting the policy, if you will, for how APDP is going to run. This is still new, being a co-chairman, so still getting my feet underneath me with that. But before that, I was prepping, mentoring and prepping, just making sure people are ready for that next step and getting them in the right position to be at that next step. So that's one of the things I've done a lot lately. But I always go back to Hampton University. I talk to the aviation students. I don't live in Delaware now, but I lived in Delaware for about 10 years, and I would go down to Delaware State University and talk to those aviation students. Just through the years, even before the majors, when I was at the regionals, living in Detroit at the time, I'd go to Western Michigan, talk to them, or just man, I was just so involved talking to elementary, junior high, high school students, colleges all over, career fairs, just introducing people to aviation, let them know that this is possible. There are minorities in this field, and it's just something to put out there that it's a possibility if you ever think about it. One of the biggest problems is representation. I know we've all heard that type of word before, but if young people don't see people who look like them in certain career fields, they just never think about doing it. It's just the way it is. Um, for minorities, it's not all about sports or entertainment. You know, the other way they talk about getting out and being successful, doctor, lawyer, it's all well and good, but there are other careers as well, you know, such as a nice career in the aviation field. If I can get you to be a pilot, well, then I'm happy about that too. But that's not everything. You know, there's so many fields. I mean, flight attendants do amazing things. Look at our friend Love here, everybody. Look at this podcast doing amazing things while she's sitting in Miami right now. Oops, am I allowed to tell people that?
Okay, I'm in Miami. I think everybody knows I'm in Miami. I'm all things Miami at this point.
I'm in 20-degree weather in Virginia and you're in, 80 in Miami. I should just go down there. That's what I should do.
Waiting for you, my friend. I'm waiting for you. So we can have a drink together. We are having a drink right now. What are you having?
Hey now. Well, I'm going exotic. I'm drinking a hard cider or Irish cider. It's still hard, whatever.
That might have been what you drank the first time we flew together in Ireland or Scotland.
Yeah, I probably had real beer. I mean, that's after finishing something else, but
I'm having that's all I had was my Casamigos Añejo drink.
Something.
Yum.
Yeah, it's always good. Luckily, I'm off today, so well, let's enjoy.
Exactly. So tell me more about OBAP. It's very, for those who need the support, because you guys do a lot. That organization does a lot. Again, professional
A
development.
lot.
Um,
They do kids in schools.
they volunteer, they do mentoring, they do so much. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the organization has its hands pretty much everywhere. And if you go to the website, www.obap.org, you can see a list of all the different programs and things like that that they take part in. APIS, Aviation Professionals in Schools.
We'll include that in the caption, guys.
Okay. Aviation Professionals in Schools. They have ACE camps. That's another big one. All over the country. If you name a major city, they're going to have an ACE camp. And it's an aviation career camp for people 13 to 17, I want to say. You can look that up to make sure, but I want to say for kids between 13 and 17, and it exposes them to careers in aviation. Now, when I say careers, I mean everything you can think of, they probably go through at ACE camp. Not only do they talk to aviation professionals, but let me start that over and just say aviation professionals do come to them and they'll sit in the classroom and talk, but they actually go out on field trips and they'll go to hangars and talk to maintenance people and see not only a real airplane out there, but the mechanics will show them things. They'll go into the air traffic control tower and talk to controllers. They'll go into offices and behind the scenes in an airport and talk to the various professionals that work there on the ramp and talk to ramp people. They'll talk to flight attendants and be on the airplane. And then as far as pilots, of course, they're going to talk to pilots, but they actually, at the end of it, they seem to, at least in most camps, they'll take you up flying in a Cessna 172 or something of the sort, maybe a Piper or something, and they'll take them up around the traffic pattern, and let them experience the joys of flight. They go on military bases and talk to military people. I mean, it's a hands-on type of camp where people really get an exposure to different facets of aviation. ACE camps are amazing. And you don't want to just stop there once you have their attention. That's where the professional schools also come in, because there'll be career days or just a special guest that'll come in and just talk to either classes or whole auditoriums of people. So there's so many different programs that OBAP has that I would say is definitely worth a look to go on their website and check it out.
I mean, it's so immense, that wealth of resource that you guys provide, even after, right, with the scholarships and finding.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing. Scholarships. There is a lot of money out there for people who want to learn how to fly. There is a lot of money out there that people are willing to give you that people don't even apply for. Only thing I will say is the money is for people who already have their pilot's license. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but nobody wants to give somebody money if they're not really going to use it. Absolutely. So by going to get your license, you show that you're serious about this. and the money isn't just for recreation. I mean, this is to get people to professional pilot status.
That's
So there was a story on the Kelly Clarkson show a couple of days ago about a young lady who got mentors from another group called Sisters of the Skies, which is a fantastic group. And she got some more mentors, and then Boeing comes on and offers her $50,000. This is a 17-year-old girl and given $50,000 for flight training. Now she's already soloed, meaning she's already flown the plane by herself. She didn't have a license yet, but she's working on it. And her mom is one of our flight attendants who I've flown with. Um,
oh,
so it's it's something that you can do, and there's scholarships available to people. Just mostly it's for people who already have a license. I was just bringing up the other one just to say it is possible to get a scholarship before you get your license, but it's very difficult, that part.
I mean, but it's a it's such a great tool to just open up all the doors into aviation. You know, once you get to that point
Oh
of
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
feel your commitment, I mean, sky's the limit at that point.
Well,
You
see,
know,
the cool thing is there's lots of organizations out there that are designed to help people who want to do this. OBAP is one of the large ones, but there's also Women in Aviation is a large one, which obviously gets more female representation into the aviation field. NGPA is another very large one, National Gay Pilots Association, to make sure that there's a lot of equality in the workplace and gets people in there as well. There's several really big organizations out there that are designed to help people. So it doesn't have to be OBAP, but find an organization that you want to be a part of and go help out, go volunteer. And by the way, I just want to say this is America. And I say that specifically to say, don't let the name fool you. You don't have to be a certain demographic to be part of a certain group. Just because you're with the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals doesn't mean you have to be a Black person. Everybody can join every organization. Um, Women in aviation, you don't have to be a woman. It just because you agree with the ideals and what the organization is trying to be a part of, that's the reason why you want to go and join it, not because you are a woman or you are Black or anything like that.
great advice.
It's not exclusive, it's a very inclusive.
It's true. And that's why we are lucky to be in America with a wealth of resources, that is open to all of us, and I mean, when I say wealth, it's not one organization, it's not two organizations. It's
It's a lot.
if you need a fitting, there is a fitting for you. If you
And
need
there's scholarships for with all of them for those that are interested in starting a career. For those that just want to learn to fly and don't want a career in it, there's nothing stopping you from doing that either. I hear so many people talking about, oh, I'm too old or something like that. And I know from personal experience, when I was a flight instructor, my youngest student was 16 and my oldest was 82. So I know as long as you're in that range, I personally know you can get taught how to fly.
That's awesome. And okay, so we're kind of I guess this is a great time to shift it, but for those of you out there listening to David, seeing his passion come out through his words about this industry, about this lifestyle, about this family that he's encompassed, through just being a pilot. Um, it really, really, really does show he wanted to share that. I'm assuming, right? He wanted to share that with others, and that's how. I guess that's what came about. How your Instagram account or your social media accounts came about. Um, just sharing that love, that sharing um, that inside the life of a pilot deal. Like, this is me loving aviation. This is me loving my coworkers. This is me loving, my life. This is me loving my lifestyle, that it has afforded. And so I want to talk about your Instagram account. And you do have a Facebook account as well. But I watch you on Instagram. So we're going to talk about Instagram. um, So if I could look at any pilot, I would say that pilot who has an Instagram account, I would say that your account, really the bio should be inside the life of a pilot. I love how you talk about when you get dressed. You know, you do the same things I do, minus the makeup. I love how you get dressed and you share to the world underwear. Okay, no girls, not that kind of underwear, but socks. So tell us about your love for your socks.
That just sort of happened one day, just in conversations and group chats and people talking about socks, and happened to be in the store and I saw some socks I liked, some Tupac socks with a little headband around the ankle and everything. And I started with that and I just kept going with it because I enjoyed it. And I would always just put it on my Instagram. Hey, here's a new pair of socks I got. And so people just started knowing me as, like a sock guy or something like that. And there's plenty of people out there with way more socks than me. But it's just fun. It
The funny thing is,
just having fun.
everyone loved it. That's the thing. You created this trend. We're like, okay, what kind of socks is he gonna have on next Monday? What kind of socks is he? What patterns is he gonna have? You know, 2 weeks from now. So, are you allowed to have those socks?
You know, only thing I saw in the rule book says they have to be dark colored socks. I All of them have a dark color somewhere in there. So I mean, I've never been called out about it. I'll say that, but I'm bringing positive attention. I think as long as you're not bringing negative attention, nobody really cares. But the powers that be who asked me to do different things with the company, they know my socks. They're always asking me, "Oh, which ones do you have on today?" And looking down at the socks or something like that. Or if I see people in the airport, a lot of them like, "What socks do you have on today? Let's see them." Oh, it's nothing, just Captain America, nothing serious or something like that.
And I think if I recall, I was there too one day when they gifted you some socks, right?
Yeah, they gave me some United branded socks, which I was really happy about. And I know I wore them. Oh, I don't remember when. It was in the last month or two. I wore them. I want to say to Los Angeles or San Francisco or something, just because it was a nice long United flight, and I felt like it was the time to wear it.
All right, guys. For again, for those of you feeling generous, um, I implore you guys to send David some of the craziest socks. You need to be sponsored. That's what you need.
I'll probably wear them too.
You need to be sponsored by a sock company. I'm going to send this out.
I accept.
And then, so another piece of your content is, well, going back to your content about sharing your life. One thing that I love, I've never seen it until I saw another account, but you guys are the only two accounts who bring people with you. Hey guys, I'm walking through the terminal and this is who I see. Hey guys, I'm walking through the terminal and flight's delayed, but you know what? We're going to keep on pushing through and we're going to stay positive and this is how we're going to do it. Hey guys, I'm checking in, look at my coworkers and hey, and it's just so positive. And the reason I believe it's important to share that, which I should be asking you this question, but is so that again, those out there who want to be in the aviation industry, um, or who are inquiring about being that United pilot or being a black pilot, like what kind of attention do you get, what do you go through in your day to day? That's very important because at one point in our lives we couldn't post this, right? Like not having the equipment and not having the permission, to do this, because this is a very secure environment. As much as we are out there, we are guided by plenty of rules. um
We sort of broke those rules though. A lot of times we weren't allowed to do a lot of what we've already done, but now we are allowed to because of what we've done.
and
So, and you, when I say we, I mean you too, you, me, everybody, I mean, we're doing things, we're on the edge sometimes of what we're posting. I admit that,
edge though,
but
edge, let's clarify.
the clean edge, no, I know, clean edge, but I mean, there's some really strict and stringent rules about what can and can't be posted and when and where and how and things like that. And sometimes you go right up to that edge, and because of that, they push the edge a little bit further and they allow things. I mean, for a long time, you couldn't put anything that actually showed your company's name on it, period. Just could not do it.
Say the name.
And, now they're like, yeah, please, no, show us. It's okay, because it's a new way of thinking. So that's just an example of, okay, maybe we didn't show the company's name, but everything else about it you showed, stuff like that. So yeah, now it's a different world, and I'm just happy to just have fun with it. And by the way, showing who you're flying with, showing the gate agents or even passengers or whatever else you're showing, it's just meant to show that this is a real world with real people and we really do have a good time here. It's okay to enjoy what you do. Bad things happen sometimes. There's delays, there's cancellations. I'm not acting like it doesn't happen. I'm not acting like this is some perfect world, but it's all in how you handle those delays. It's all in how you handle the cancellations or whatever the case may be. It may be a medical emergency. Um, how do you handle that? Is your general disposition to be positive, or is it something negative, or where you always see a problem with things? So I like to show that you really can be positive about the negative events that happen.
That's amazing. And you made 3 points, and I'm going to kind of go back, about pushing that edge. I would like to say we were visionaries, but we didn't know the vision. We just saw our vision. We saw, and in that realm, I would like to not toot my own horn, but I think because of my background, having been several times in my career the face of, the airline that I work for, because we merged, right? um, through
Right.
certain types. So we both came from Continental, guys, and then we merged with a great big company, United, and so that's why I say two airlines. But I think David, you came from another airline as well. So but just with
I
us,
came with from Continental. Yeah.
straight Continental.
Yeah, straight Continental. You and I flew together in Continental several times. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you came from an express airline.
Oh, not from Express. No.
Oh wow. Oh
I
wow.
came from an airline called Masaba, which was a Northwest Airlines regional carrier.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking. But so just going back to what I was saying, at the time, because this was a secure job, we were very big on security, one, and two, branding, and we pushed that limit, to what we can do, what we can post, what we can show. Me, you, Joe, the great Joe. We did that knowing that we couldn't do that, but we did that because one, we knew that we could do it, but do it the right way. So that was key, you knew that when you push that line to say, hey, I'm going to post this, and it may not, be, it may be gray in that black and white situation, but I know that what will come out of it is good. Look at Joe and his sunset. Look at you and your socks. People loved you because of your socks from other airlines. Like, what? Davy Dave. I was like, what? My daughter's Uncle David? Like, what are you talking about? Like, like, wait, yes. Like, why do you know him? We love his socks. I go, you got to be kidding me. This is what everyone's following.
So
We love you.
it's funny. What makes all that stuff worth it a lot of times is when people recognize you from, in the terminal, or maybe an intern comes up to you and says, hey, listen, I love your stories with your socks, but overall, you've just kept me motivated and inspired. I can't tell you number of people who've come up to me and just said, they've been in college and times were tough, and college gets hard sometimes, and they would look at my story or something like that and just like, okay, I'm going to push through because I want that. I want to be part of that right there. Or even said they wanted United to be their airline because they wanted that. And that's why I do it. Just keep everyone motivated. That stuff didn't exist when I was in college. I didn't have all this motivation. So if I can show you how good life can be, the good, bad, the ugly of the airline world, let's do it.
That's amazing. Amazing story. Amazing. I'm glad to be a part of that with you. And I say that to you guys out there because David and this other guy, Joe, that I've met, that is with the same airline, who's a great photographer, who is, I think 3 episodes ago, um, and David, we're all part of this great social media team, marketing team at United, and having built that bond on creativity based on our love of aviation. It's just such a great place to be. It's a great family that we have within a big
And
family.
we're all very different in what we post, our content, even our abilities. I don't take anywhere near as good a picture as Joe. Let's just throw that out there. I don't claim to. This guy is so amazing at what he can do. It wow, that's all I can say about him.
He's time published. Of course.
There's a reason they love him. He is amazing. I'm just documenting what I see and just having fun with it.
Yeah, my favorite. Well, I guess I should ask you, what are your favorite, as far as content, what are your favorite posts? Like, what do you get excited about posting?
I would get excited over posting things like a time lapse or something like that, where you can actually look forward and kind of see what's happening, things like that. I love the view from up in the sky. And most people, when you fly, you're looking sideways, so out of the windows. But when you can fly and look forward, it's so different. So when I can show people something like that, it's just that's what I love. But other than that, my second favorite thing is just to have a story of me talking to the people,
Yeah,
telling them,
I'm
hey,
excited for.
look at this, it's an empty airplane. And by the way, I'm about to fly it. Ooh, look at the cockpit. People love to see the cockpit, flight deck, whatever you want to call it. People just love to see it. And so, hey, okay. And as mundane as it might seem to me, I think back to when I was learning how to fly, or with the other five pilots that were in the video with me, we would do anything just to see a picture of a flight deck or a video of a flight deck. I mean, it's a
Oh,
big deal. It's a very motivating thing. If that's what you want to do, then you're going to want to look at that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'll show people that stuff and keep them motivated. Let them know, hey, here's where I'm going. Uh, Track me, follow me. And I get DMs of people like, "Hey, look, this is you. You're passing this, or you're at this altitude, or stuff like that." And it's innocent stuff, and it's wonderful. I'm honored, and I don't know what other word I could use. Just honored that people would even care enough to track me.
well, I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what I love about your post. What I love most about your posts are actually negative situations. When you talk about being on a delay or, bad weather, you actually bring so much light into that negative situation that you make people feel okay. And that's important because you are the captain, right? You are a pilot. You are in control, you know, but you can only be in control so much, and you give that comfortability and that relief to many of the passengers. You do it with me. I think of you and I pull those situations, your stories. When I am in that situation, still after 20 years of flying, when I am in that situation, I'm thinking, okay, what is going on? You know what, Dave, what would David do? What would David say? Just relax. It is what it is. Let's just be patient, just keep on moving. And so I appreciate that. I do appreciate that because I know that not only does it help me out, it helps all the other thousands of followers that follow you. And not only for that, it just teaches it teaches people to be, positive. You influence people to not only love the aviation industry, but you also influence people to be patient and to trust, you know the aviation industry. And
It's not only about the social media aspect, but you have to do that in real life too. So if there is said delay or cancellation or something like that, you have to be the one, especially as the captain, to talk to the people and give it to them straight. Keep, especially for delays, keep people updated, let them know what's going on, real talk, and excuse me, don't be afraid to just walk amongst the crowd and answer questions, things like that. That's how you influence people also and get them to appreciate aviation, our jobs. It lessens the load on the flight attendants, on the gate agents, everybody, because now people have heard directly what's going on and why. A lot of times the flight attendants, as you know, don't know what's going on exactly. But if I can give it to them, I can give it to them in everyday speak. Or if you really want me to get down into the weeds, I can give it to you in technical speak. Whatever needs to be done to make sure that the people understand what's going on. And I think that that's a big deal with influencing, like, and not just the social media aspect, but the everyday real life aspect of what we're doing.
That's amazing. So let's talk about account, even though we have been talking about it. Do you monetize at all or capitalize?
So
Monetize or capitalize?
I'll say for the first question, monetize, not really capitalize. I guess, yeah. Um, I don't do any of this for financial gain or money or anything like that. I'm just purely just for fun. And as long as I keep having fun with it, I'll keep doing it. If it's no fun, then I won't. Um, but through this, I've gotten opportunities to do some of these videos, to be a part of different events, things like that. And most importantly, I've been able to influence and motivate others. So that's that's good enough for me. I'm just so excited to be able to help other people. That's what it's all about for me.
That's great. And then with these opportunities that have been presented to you, let me go back. Have you thought about capitalizing, monetizing? Um, Again, through a sock company, I could see so many pitches, like so many contacts I could send your way. Whether it's sock companies or, just
I haven't really done a lot of thought about any of that. I feel like if I do too much of that sort of thing, then it might not be fun. I'll be doing things because I have to, not because I want to. With that being said, I'm willing to be proven wrong. So if a sock company out there wants to, sponsor me, or anybody, just whatever company, you just want to sponsor me, and yeah, I'll do whatever. We'll try it.
okay, guys, you heard him. Um, the Have you ever gotten in trouble? Because most of your account is not personal. It's all professional. It's all within the aviation industry, aviation related. What have you ever gotten in trouble? Whether it's socially being, posting at when you weren't supposed to be somewhere because you ditched plans with another person, or weather-wise, or have you ever said, "Oops, I probably shouldn't have posted that"?
Um, I tend to say that before I post it, just to make sure, you know. No, I haven't been in any trouble.
Can you say that again?
Oh, that I say I probably shouldn't post that before I post it, just to make sure that everything's cool. I have that conversation with myself, just to make
So
sure.
I actually review things 5 times before it gets posted. My fifth time, actually, I post, I leave, and I come back with a different lens. Because just to
Hmm.
make sure. So that's great. That's great
I've
advice.
deleted a post or two because I'm like, nah, I probably shouldn't say that, or post that, or whatever the case may be. So maybe,
Right?
I don't know, for whatever reason. But you know, in all honesty, no, I can't say I've been in any trouble. Most of my content is about aviation, but not all of it. I do my fair share of social activism as well. I have my opinions and my views, and I share them. And those that like it will post, and those that don't will post. And you know what? One of the things I like about my page, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or whatever the case may be, is I consider it a safe space for people to post their views and opinions. I have not generally attacked anybody for disagreeing with my views. Um, there's been some pretty good debates and arguments amongst followers who are, posting their opinion, and that's fine. I don't have any issues with any of that sort of stuff. But I do a fair amount of that too. And sometimes I think, should I post this? Oh, heck yeah.
That's great. And then, so what is do you have one particular post where you had the ultimate best story besides the most recent one with Hampton University, which was well produced?
Ultimate, but you mean like background from a post or something? Or, you know, let me ask you this question real quick before I answer this. Were you with me on the Amsterdam trip where I went to the Heineken tour? I can't. I'm like, I think you were with me on that one
You
because
kind of
yeah, there was a bunch of people. So, I mean, I know there was a picture posted of me like pouring a beer or something somewhere on Instagram, Facebook,
behind the bar,
somewhere in there.
ladies and gentlemen, behind the bar.
Right. But what people don't know is there was a whole tour going on. And then at the end of the tour, they give you these free beers. You have these little tabs on your uh, bracelet thing that they gave you. You're good for two. Well, after two, we're all still sitting there, and I found a couple on the floor, so I gave them those. And then some of you guys didn't want yours, so we're giving them those. Those of us that did want them, after a while, they're like, okay, they're closing up, and they decided to walk away. Well, me, this is my very first time I've ever been in Amsterdam, and I'm thinking, well, I know if certain things here are legal, they couldn't possibly care if I pour my own beer. So I jumped around or over the counter, went back there, pulled out a glass, and started pouring my own beer. And then the guy comes running up. Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Let's show him how to pour a beer for real. And I'm thinking, yeah, yeah, show me how to pour a beer. And so they showed me the proper technique of how to do it. And I poured one and I didn't get it right. And I slid that to one of the crew members. And then I poured another one and I didn't get it right. So I slid that to another crew members. There were six of us, if I remember. So by the sixth one, I seemed to get it right. So everyone had that last free drink. But the picture just showed me pouring a beer, but there was a whole story behind that. I love that story.
I love that story too. I actually forgot about that trip. My most memorable one with you, and I posted that on social media, was a very long night in Hamburg.
Oh, that was good.
Right?
That
We
was
had a
good. Beer gardens.
beer gardens and just clubs afterwards, and then the after clubs. And guys, this is when we used to have 5 day layovers or 5 day trips with 3 day
Yep.
layovers.
Yep.
Um, and that just happened to be my hometown
It
at
was.
where I lived. So it was great. I'm actually trying to find that picture.
Yep.
um,
Lived
so
and yeah,
that's
that was home for you. So you were able to really show me around. You and he who probably I will not name will be just showed me around and I really appreciate it. You guys were great. It was amazing.
um the so that was the best story. Any funny stories?
I thought my story was pretty funny.
No, that wasn't funny. That was amazing. Yeah, that was what was the
Man,
most
I gotta work on my stories. Maybe it's my timing. That's what it
funny?
is.
What was the most memorable? Like, I guess it would be the Hampton University one, right? Just because it was so well produced.
Um that was amazing. That video that they did was amazing. You know the best part of that was actually all of us coming together in Houston and just being around each other. That was the first time in years that we'd all been around each other at the same time. Not individually, we've all been in touch with each other here and there, but I mean, my friend Darnell came from Guam to be part of that video. People from all over LA and all over the East Coast. And it was just real cool to have us all there in one spot, just cutting up and having a good time. It's like we never left college, honestly.
That's amazing. And it's so great seeing you guys so, decades later and then looking at you guys and you guys all still look the same. It's like, oh, I know him, I know her, I know him. Just so amazing.
We're trying to keep that youthful appearance.
It was inspiring more than anything. I mean, I really did want to cry. Like I actually had to pause it and just say, let me walk away, let that sit and come back because
Well,
it's
I'm
great.
not a crier, and I almost cried looking at it. Like, oh my goodness, look at this.
Almost made yourself cry, right? Um, and the reason that is it's great to see it from the outside, but to visualize what you guys had gone through, in that era, I should say it's so much harder to become And again, it's because you didn't have that many resources to become a pilot, not having gone through the military, coming straight from school into a major airline. I mean, wow, you guys are some of the earliest pioneers of that,
We
especially.
didn't have the mentors. See, we didn't know other airline pilots. I know I didn't. I know several of them didn't. If one or two did, I didn't know about it. So without having people direct us, the only people we had was each other and our professors to try to guide us. And I think we did a good job. We all did a fairly traditional route, but yeah, it was on us. There wasn't social media back then, so you didn't have all these accounts to look at. If you wanted to look at airplanes flying from the inside, there were video series that you could buy or rent or something like that. Luckily, our aviation department had a collection of them, so we could just sit back, pop it in a VHS, and just sit back and watch it or something like that. And we would just talk about how we were going to do that one day, fly across the pond.
And I get chills just thinking about that. And you said something so poignant. It was that you didn't have that mentorship, but you guys provided that mentorship to each other, saying that we are going to fulfill these dreams and we're going to do it together. I mean, and you guys clearly, discussed that, in that video. And I mean, guys, you guys have to watch this video. This is one of the most moving stories at United, and I'm so glad to have seen that and to be part of that. Just knowing you guys, and just rooting you guys, decades later, rooting on for you guys decades later. So, I have one last question to ask you, David.
Sure.
Um, if you had advice for anybody who wants to start, their being on social media or starting their social media brand or presence, being an airline pilot or in aviation, especially for those who are afraid to to cross that line, what advice would that be?
I will tell anybody, if you want to start with social media, start with whatever you're comfortable with. Start slow and do whatever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable taking pictures, maybe Instagram is the place for you. If you want to do a little bit more, maybe Facebook is the place. Maybe Twitter's your thing. LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many different sites out there. Go with the site that you are comfortable with, you enjoy, and just post little things that interest you. And as long as you're authentic, people will follow you. Make sure if you want more followers that not only do you follow other people, but you engage with those people. You like their posts, you maybe repost some of their posts, things like that. That way they see you, they'll repost you, then other people find you. It's kind of a cycle. Um, and it really does work. Now, I don't have as many followers as, say, Love does, and I will freely admit that. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly happy where I am, and with whoever follows me, it's authentic and it's not forced for me. Besides, your content's just way better than mine, so that's why you have so many more.
I love traveling, and everyone loves traveling, and well, I have that inside the life of a flight attendant as well,
Right.
when I used to fly. I haven't flown in a long time, sadly to say. But that's great. Great news. Great advice. Anything else you'd like to tell everyone out there?
Yep, I do. I want to tell everybody, if you're not necessarily interested in aviation, don't think this podcast, or at least my interview, is all about becoming an aviation professional. When I talk to kids in schools for years, what I would tell them is maybe being a pilot isn't your thing, and that's fine. What I do want you to do is follow your dreams. Find your passion and go after it, whatever that passion is. It is so important because you have to do this job for 30 plus years. A lot of times it's not about the paycheck, it's about loving what you do. And if you can do that, you'll survive off of whatever paycheck you get, and you'll find ways of monetizing that, as you said, um, making more, this and that. So just make sure that you're passionate about something and that you find that and you follow it. That's what's going to make you succeed in life, not just going after a paycheck.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for being on the show, and hope to have you back on the show. And everybody, follow David. We will have his handles and where to reach him in our caption. Happy
All
Thursday.
right. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Bye.